It is February 2025. The cold air blustered on the barren land. The small Cycladic island in Greece is in complete panic. There are repeated earthquakes, rocks and debris fall off the steep cliffs that oversee the roughest emerged. An old memory has emerged. The locals, seasonal workers and tourists are flocking to the port. At least 11,000 evacuated by purchasing overpriced boat and airplane tickets. Schools closed and all indoor events are prohibited. Why is everyone so scared? What is happening in the so-called island of vampires, the island of Santorini? I'm your hostess, Maria Elena, and today we explore one of the biggest catastrophes to have ever been documented in human history. Let's go back in time. Thousands of years ago, emerging from the Neolithic age, different civilizations appeared in Greece. As they started using bronze in their everyday tools and weapons, they marked the so-called Bronze Age in our history books. In the Aegean Sea, the dark blue waters that separate mainland Greece from the east, two civilizations flourished, known for their peaceful nature. The Cycladians, who occupied the countless small islands we now call Cycladic, and the Minoans, who lived and flourished on the island of Crete. Eventually, these two civilizations converged, with the Minoans being the predominant cultural influence that absorbed the Cycladians. You may have heard of the myth of Theseus, Ariadne, and the Minotaur, the half-bull, half-human beast that roamed the labyrinth of the royal Minoan palace of Knossos. This story takes place in one of the ancient kingdoms of that spectacular time in history. It was a time of highly artistic and spiritual activities that involved bull leaping and snake dancing. The walls of palaces were painted in colorful patterns. Figures of women with long black hair, flowers and dolphins would decorate the corridors. From 3100 to 1100 BC, the Minoans ruled the Aegean. They established the first thalassocracy, a maritime nation that navigated the seas, inhabiting island after island. They developed two writing systems known as Cretan hieroglyphs and Linear A, respectively, and their contribution to history has been beyond imagination. But just like every era in history ends abruptly, the time of the Minoans ended with an event that was sudden and violent, that changed history. A major center for the Minoans was no other than the island of Thera, known today as Santorini. They had established a thriving settlement, Akrotiri, which had advanced multi-level buildings and a precise urban planning. In the year 1628 BC, many Minoans started fleeing the island. They noticed some strange occurrences, seismic activity that shook their homes, and an asphyxiating cloud of smoke started emerging from the ground. Thera was a volcanic island, and these bizarre signs terrified many of the locals. Those who stayed were in for a surprise. On a random day, the earthquakes intensified, and then the volcano started making loud noises. Violent steam explosions caused by magma mixing with underground water could be heard from the vent. A large ash cloud began rising over the Aegean, signaling that something catastrophic started. It could be compared to titans roaring from the depths of Tartarus. The earth screamed with pain as pumice and volcanic material buried Akrotiri under tons of ash. If any structure was left, it got destroyed within seconds by the massive pyroclastic flows. The central part of the island was swallowed into the depths of the underworld, forming the so-called caldera that tourists visit to photograph to this day. But the natural forces of destruction did not end there. The asphyxiating cloud covered the sky all over the Aegean. Over 100 kilometers away towards the south, the Minoan Cretans ran towards the seaside and nearby cliffs to witness the disaster from a great distance. And then they saw it. The calm waters started receding, leaving a trail of sand behind. At the horizon, a 15-meter wall of pure water was slowly approaching them, silent and at a steady pace. These were no regular rogue waves. The volcanic eruption was so violent that it caused not one, not two, but multiple tsunamis to emerge. After the destruction of Akrotiri in Santorini, now it was the turn of the Minoan civilization's epicenter, Crete. The coastal settlements were swept away by Poseidon's wrath, leaving a watery graveyard behind. But those located at a safe distance from the sea had a bleak future ahead of them. Vast amounts of sulfur dioxide released into the atmosphere straight from hell. It was not only hard to breathe, but the climate changed significantly, with temperatures dropping rapidly. As if goddess Demeter mourned the loss of her daughter, the earth became barren. Nothing could grow. The crops were destroyed. For a long time, the sun was hidden behind heavy clouds of ash, creating an apocalyptic atmosphere. The Minoans had to endure famine and economic and social collapse. It was a slow process that took years, even decades. By 1450 BC, another Bronze Age civilization, the Mycenaeans, who ruled the mainland with their warrior spirit, finally captured the land of the Minoans. It was the end of an era. If the real events that occurred in Santorini millennia ago sound familiar, you are not alone. Plato, the great philosopher and storyteller of ancient Greece, had described the destruction of the thalassocracy, a seafarer nation that lived in abundance and harmony for thousands of years. A seafarer nation that lived in abundance and harmony for thousands of years. Plato introduced the myth of Atlantis in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias in 360 BC. It was a technologically advanced society, with grand temples, palaces, and an advanced irrigation system, a utopia of wisdom and virtue. until its people became corrupt and greedy. The gods, especially Poseidon, grew angry at the Atlanteans' arrogance. In a single day and night, Atlantis was destroyed by earthquakes and floods and sank into the sea. When Plato was alive, the Minoan eruption had taken place over 1,000 years ago. Could Atlantis be this early Aegean thalassocracy, or at least a story inspired by its destruction? I am personally perplexed, as Plato stated that the location of this kingdom was a vast ocean beyond the Pillars of Heracles, in other words, the Strait of Gibraltar. So I'm really curious to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. This time, scientists do not foresee a catastrophic eruption, but the seismic activity can be dangerous. My thoughts are with the displaced. This was today's episode, and I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please show your support by liking and commenting. In case you are new here, consider subscribing. It is free and it helps you stay connected. Now I would like to take a moment to announce that you can now join Helinika Society, a membership community within this channel that will consist of those of you who love to philosophize and discuss about various topics. You will also get to access the episodes earlier. Moreover, I have some crazy personal stories to tell, and trust me, you do not want to miss them. See you again in the next episode.